I want to get this out of the way right now. Despite my dislike of Xanadu, I don't hate it. There is some charm to the idea of Xanadu as a film, and on the whole, I have changed in the way I view films over the years, good and especially bad. So from here on out, I'll do my best to answer why Xanadu? Why is Xanadu? I should have figured out which one I'd go with before doing this. So, Xanadu, the bad musical with good songs. It didn't have to be that way, but it is. I saw the behind the scenes documentary and I've looked up some info since, but if you think I'm here to repeat what's said there, you're wrong. Oh sure, I'll regurgitate some info as it's key to understanding why this movie is the way it is, but if I were just reciting some film notes, I might as well just be showing you the documentary, and honestly, I'm not here for that. Suffice to say, while this will explain some of the, let's say, backstory of Xanadu, I want to make it clear why this movie of all things. A movie that probably won't get me new viewers. A movie that my current viewers aren't really aware of. A movie that won't change the world. It didn't even change my views on movies, but I think it does make my views on some movies a bit clearer. Yes, bad ones. See, the most pivotal piece of information regarding where this movie was doomed came early on in the documentary. It was originally intended to be a small feature focusing on roller skating, which makes sense of a lot, actually. But then big stars, starting with Olivia Newton-John apparently, joined the film, and suddenly Universal decided to pump in more money, resulting in rewrites and rewrites and rewrites and... Oh, so it was a case of a small project being overstuffed. Got it. Now, I want to make it clear, I don't think the original vision, whatever it was, would have been a landmark film. A classic. An award winner. Whatever. Maybe it could have been. But we don't know enough, or at least I don't know enough to make that call. What I do know is that it wouldn't have the same reputation, given the statement suggests it was more grounded and normal compared to what we got. So I'm guessing no muses, possibly no animated sequence. Well, definitely no animated sequence. And the music would probably be nothing special, assuming it was meant to be a musical to begin with. Going back to the idea of the budget ballooning, one must wonder, what did Universal expect to happen? I get that having a talented actress join the project gives it more appeal, thus granting it more money and attention, but why take the route it did? Why make it more fantasy, pushing the roller skating aspect away? Well, not really away, because as we've seen, it's still in there plenty. The studios normally pull this whenever big names become interested in indie features. Even the animation sequence exists because they had money to burn. No, really, apparently there was no time to reshoot a sequence for the Walk Away song, so they just decided to do it animated with Don Bluth.
He says, I've got a song that I have not put in this movie, and it has to go in this movie, and I believe it should be done in animation.
Okay. Who would make choices that require money be randomly thrown like that? I don't even blame the crew much on this one because they're just doing what they can to deliver the movie. Universal is the one who ponied up the money to make this small feature a bigger event. The why of many messy films is that too much gets put in all over the place, or at least in all the wrong places of the movie. And it's pretty clear that this had way too much money put in, with Universal expecting it to mean more to audiences than what was initially considered. Again, if the budget never ballooned, I can't say it would have been a better movie, but surely it wouldn't be a mess, especially one that was confused with what it wanted to be, right? And the thing is, in a way, one has to wonder, if being that mess is why it's even worth talking about now, maybe the original version would have been good. But no one really seems to think highly of it. At least no one has ever said that they did. Even then, being good does not equate being memorable. True reference, Cats. A thing my friends are not tired of, I'm sure. Yes, the movie we got was awful, but it is memorable. Maybe that animated version that never got made would have been better, but I doubt it would be talked about as much, or at least to the same degree as the Cats we got, because it would just be Cats, but not nightmare-inducing. Or to provide an example where both takes exist, Dr. Seuss movies have a bad track record, but the animated ones tend to face less scrutiny compared to the live action stuff. Hoarding Hears a Who was even considered to be the first good Seuss movie by many, yet how often do people talk about that over Cat in the Hat? Yeah, Xanadu is bad. Wildly so, but it's why I chose to talk about it. There's no guarantee I'd have talked about it if it were the original vision, let alone would have ever noticed it. Sure, good movies deserve to shine, but not all well-made movies are good movies, or at least good enough to cross people's minds for as long as some really bad ones are. It's why I've become fascinated with bad movies over the years. People imagine bad movies are made by incompetent people, which, fine, it is true at times, but not always. In fact, the mistakes made in bad movies can exist in good ones too, which is why the whole objectively good or objectively bad takes people have on movies is just lame. It ignores the actual work that goes into things, as well as how often it's luck that results in good things. No one sets out to make a purposely bad movie. Most films are made with the intent to be good, and it's clear Xanadu was intended to be a special thing. Just looking at how the people talk about it in the behind the scenes doc shows people had intentions of love for it. Sadly, it just didn't work. The documentary wasn't about the cast and crew trashing their work, it was just an honest presentation of what they made. You'd assume based on most of the video that they made something good, because they never stopped talking about the special experience of making Xanadu. Toward the end, they do mention the movie did poorly at the box office, but interestingly did well when it came to the sales of the music, which proves the movie sucks, but the music was great, right? Well, kinda. They acknowledge the movie was put in significantly less theaters than what would be considered a wide release. And while not mentioned in the doc, Universal did put off critic screenings, suggesting that they knew they had a bomb in their hands. But then again, since they had it in fewer theaters, how do we know it was truly dead on arrival? What if it had opened wide? Would it have been a bigger hit? Success is a factor that people love putting on movies that are good, but time and time again, we see that's not always true. Given the soundtrack, it could have been a big hit. We'll never really know, but the studio created a self-fulfilling prophecy, and it's unfair how often that creates the narrative, even the reputation a movie receives. I can't say this deserved more love, it doesn't, but it deserved a chance maybe? I don't believe in destiny. What Xanadu is a bad movie with good music, that's obvious. But the why behind that is circumstantial. It attracted talent, Universal demanded more to hype the talent up, eventually realized they had given more than what was necessary, cut off access to avoid what they assumed was a train wreck, which happened anyway, and when an aspect of the movie did succeed, when an audience slowly came years later, the only thought on my mind was, what if they had remained confident? Maybe it still wouldn't be considered good, but it might have had an audience from the beginning. The idea of that, coupled with the quality of the movie, is why I'm here talking about it. And for part 3, we'll look at the kind of prequel where we first see Gene Kelly's character from this movie, and... No. You know what? No, forget it. This is it. That's it. Already answered why Xanadu. Next time, we'll do something else. No more Xanadu. I'm done.